Hello, Cancer, and welcome to your reading for the month of March 2022. This reading is intended for Cancer Sun and Rising. Cancer Moons may also find messages here, so you might also want to watch, and cross watchers are always welcome. So if you haven't watched the collective reading, I recommend that you do that because I go deeper into the energy of the collective card, which is the Hermit, in that video. This video zeroes in on how that energy is meant to show up and be focused on specifically for you, Cancer. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on this video. It lets YouTube know that you think my content is valuable and that you want to see more of it. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into this reading. So before I pull your focus card, I'm going to use some astro dice so we can see what planet, what sign, and what house might be of particular emphasis for this month. So let me just give them a good shake. And okay, your sign is coming up for you, Cancer. Okay, so we have the sign of Cancer, we have Saturn, and we have the 12th house. So you know, if you're a Cancer rising, Cancer is your first house. If you're Cancer sun, you may or may not have Cancer in your first house, depending on what your rising sign is, but in your solar houses, Cancer is your first house. And then the 12th house, you know, really that lines up well with March ringing in with Pisces season, because Pisces naturally aligns with the 12th house. So really dealing with what's in your subconscious, you know, and the Hermit, we're going into a period of kind of, you know, seclusion where we're, you know, being introspective and reflective. And then Saturn is, you know, a little bit of a restrictive energy. So there may be some, you know, level of difficulty that we're dealing with, or some element of patience that, you know, we have to deal with, Cancer. I'm a Cancer rising. My Aries sun does not like to go slow, doesn't like to be patient. So definitely I am not vibing with that message right now. But yeah, Saturn is, you know, it's the ruler of the opposite sign. You know, Cancer is ruled by the moon, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So, you know, that little teeter-totter, you know, of energy is kind of, you know, it might feel a little bit destabilizing, which, you know, if you think about Pisces and its correspondence with the moon card in the major arcana, it can feel very destabilizing when we're dealing with the subconscious, or, you know, we're dealing with, you know, not knowing something, or dealing with the sitting in the uncomfortability of what we don't know, you know, in really having to be patient and lean on our inner wisdom and kind of be grown-ups about it. You know, Saturn really talks about, you know, being more mature, you know, expressing more mature energy where, you know, we might just want to, you know, act out and have our way. So, you know, look at where Cancer lies in your chart, and then where's Saturn and what aspects is Saturn making, you know, to transiting Saturn or your natal Saturn, you know, what's going on in your 12th house, you know, because these readings are very general, but our natal charts are as personal as our fingerprints. So the way that this will show up for you will be different from, you know, the next Cancer that's watching this video. So really, really pay attention to that. So I'm going to set that to the side. Move this little cup over. You still see that? Just trying to make sure everything is in frame. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is pull your focus card for the month. And I'm doing this a little bit differently this month. If it does come out in the reverse, I'm going to read it upright, because, you know, as we move along, we live, we learn, and I'm just realizing that I would really like to keep them, you know, kind of in line with the collective card, that your focus, whether it's in the reverse or upright, it pretty much gets read the same. So that's what we're going to see. All right, what is Cancer's focus? We got, okay, the Queen of Cups. This is your card as well. Okay, we got Cancer in the dice, and the Queen of Cups is cardinal water. yes, your card, Cancer, is showing up for you. So this is a real emphasis on a period of, introspection and reflection that's almost like, digging into your subconscious, of who am I, and how do I live authentically, from that place of like my embracing my emotional nature, but we're also, we're in a very, we're also in a sister water sign where we're dealing with, mercurial energy. It's opposite sign, Pisces season being in a card that's ruled by Virgo. It's really, asking us to reflect on our emotions. So that's what I'm really seeing for you, Cancer. And in that, with the Saturn coming up, it's like having the patience to do the hard work, because Saturn doesn't reward anything that comes easily. Everything that, but it's always worthwhile. Like, it's always challenging when Saturn is involved, but the payoffs are great. And, it's much more rewarding than something that just falls into your lap. So I'm really seeing the Queen of Cups in this, March for you, Cancer, as being, just taking time to get back to you, because we've been dealing with some really heavy energy, especially for cardinal signs. We started off the year with a Venus retrograde in Capricorn, and then Mercury retrograded from Aquarius back into Capricorn. And, we had some hits, from both of those planets to Pluto. That is intense energy. And that was happening in our 7th house of relationships. So this Hermit energy, I can really see is like needing a time out, to really have, a time of renewal and replenishment, and really reflect on what wisdom you've gained over this time, but really taking the time to, get back to self, rather than focusing on other people, because the relationship we have with ourselves is just as, if not more important, right? So the next card that I'm going to pull is a card that Spirit wants to give us more information about how these energies are meant to blend for you, Cancer. So, wow, we got those flying out. I don't think that was meant to happen. So let's see, what frequency is Cancer meant to work with in March 22? The Queen of Cups and the Hermit. Okay, we had 2 fly out again. I'm gonna have to figure out which one. Okay, and this one that came out on top is really it, empowerment. And that really, really does speak to, you're showing up here, you're showing up in these dice, Saturn, you feel much more empowered by those hard lessons. So let's see, the frequency of empowerment supports our ability to show up fully and completely, uniting us with others in the deep trust that we are all connected through the same source. 12th house, that is the collective unconscious, but, we are, we're understanding, that we're fully, we're connected, and the interconnectedness of the universe, and the interconnectedness that we have with each other. And look at, this is card 26. It reduces down to an 8, which corresponds with the strength card that we were working with last month, which we can feel really empowered to live in our authenticity. That's what I was feeling about getting back to self for you, Cancer, is kind of digging into that subconscious and exploring, who am I really? How do I feel, about myself? And here it is, emerging from that 12th house into, your solar or your rising, your first house of, of yourself, Cancer, showing up there and feeling much more empowered and connected and embodied, supported, but just needing that moment to, take time out, especially during the first 2/3 of the month, I would say, until we get to to Aries season, where things really, pop off and feel more energetic, in the rebirth of the astrological year, that it really is a good time to reflect. So that is really, really lovely for you. So what I'm going to do is pull 2 more chakra cards that will give us a little bit more information about some of the themes you'll be dealing with. Okay, and we got truth. Okay, and I'm seeing a lot of blue, which is throat chakra energy, but it's like owning your own truth. This says the frequency of empowerment supports your ability to show up fully and completely. So it's like, what is your soul truth? And I think that's why you're showing up as your own focus. And as well with the astrological dice, it's like speaking from an empowered place of your authentic truth, right? And trusting yourself, that when you speak from your truth, that you don't have to question whether or not people vibe with it, because you won't care. Like you know that if that makes sense, like that, you make perfect sense, and that you're comfortable with who you are and what you have to say is valuable. So let's pull 1 more card for you, Cancer. So that's some throat chakra energy. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, and we got some solar plexus. Oh, again, we got some yellow in this card. Self-esteem. So this really is all about you getting back to self, really connecting with the source of, who you are at a soul level, in this Pisces season, while we're going through this hermit moon, this axis of, the hermit and the moon energy of, we don't know exactly what, we can't see, but we're trusting our inner wisdom, right? We're trusting ourselves to find our own truth. And that leads to empowerment and a sense of renewed self-esteem. And with Saturn here, those lessons are not easy, especially 12th house, with the 12th house, because a lot of times things feel very murky. 12th house is also, where we find, places of seclusion. It's also the house of hidden enemies, where we don't know, like, who's for us, who's against us. We can feel a little bit of, I don't want to say paranoia, but anxiety around, who is really in my corner. But it's like you're coming to a new sense of self where it's like, no matter what happens, you have your own back. Like you have this renewed sense of, self-esteem that no matter what happens in your life, it doesn't mean that it won't be difficult, but that you feel good about who you are. Here is another 8. Here we have 26 reducing down to an 8. You're going to be really grounded in your authentic truth. So let's look at where you are at the beginning of March, Cancer. Okay. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, 9 of Cups. Look, we got some more solar plexus energy in this right here. Like really feeling like you're fulfilling, your own happiness. You're filling up your own cups for yourself, feeling empowered. Look, her hair is blue, and there is so much yellow in this card, but it's like, she is jumping off this pot of gold in her, she's surrounded by these cups that, in the 9 of Cups, we've had to make a difficult decision to walk away from something in the 8 of Cups that might have seemed like a good thing, or it was hard to walk away from. It's a card of transition, but it's like you're leaving it in the hopes of, like, I don't know what's out there, but there's something else out there that's better for me. And that's what you find in the 9. So maybe, the work that you were doing in February, that really heart-centered strength work has led you to this feeling of, you know, the Nine of Cups of like, I feel a lot more empowered, and this is a continuation of this energy. But what I want to do is pull a clarifier to see what aspect, where this Nine of Cups energy is coming from at the beginning of March. And I mean, but I'm loving it for you. Loving it, Cancer. Like really being rooted in happiness and emotional fulfillment that really lights you up. Because see, like the illumination is coming straight out of her heart chakra, you know, and that solar plexus energy really corresponds to our sense of personal freedom, you know. So dealing with that 12th house energy, it really is almost like Saturn is saying, dealing with this tough energy is actually a liberating thing for you, like at the end of the day. So let's see what we got here. Okay, and Two of Swords. So this really speaks to, here we have water, and, you know, Mercury is, you know, the planetary ruler of Virgo, and the Hermit, we have air, you know, and this is a solar eclipse here. Eclipses are known to be, you know, points of real illumination. So, you know, this could really be saying that you had a realization about a choice that you had to make, or, you know, like, do I go this way or do I go that way? And you decided, I'm going to move towards, you know, my truth, what makes me feel good, what makes me feel fulfilled. And that's a wonderful thing, you know, but it wasn't something that you hadn't given a lot of thought to, you know, because this is a Swords card. It's almost like, you know, a blending and a melding of like what you logically believed, you know, that I deserve this, I've worked hard for this, I've paid my dues, and then two, like this is something that would really make me happy. And you know, you did that work in February, and it's starting to show itself on the outside. So let's look at your next tarot card, which is a challenge that may arise for you. Sorry, that's too many cards. That challenge that may arise for Cancer in the month of March. One card challenge that might show up for Cancer. Clearly, please. Oh, I'm sorry if that was loud. Okay. Okay, the Five of Wands in reverse. So, okay, I see this as being some ego battles. You know, the Wands are fiery energy, and fives usually, you know, they always generally deal with a challenge. So, you know, you see how each person, you know, is trying to climb this ladder to reach this flame. You know, they each have their way of going about it, and they probably all have, you know, think that they're doing it the best. So it's usually, you know, not all in all out bare knuckle brawling, but it's like, you know, challenges to, you know, like, I know best, or I have the best idea, you know, but it's usually, you know, just a little bit of mudslinging that happens, you know, and it just could be minor, like, bickering that happens during the month of March. But I feel like this coming up in the reverse is like, you're kind of unfazed and unbothered by it. Like normally where in the upright, this might get to you and it might feel like you have to take the bait and, you know, work, you know, respond to the challenge. It feels like, you know, with this Nine of Wands and Two of Swords energy, like you're feeling very emotionally like balanced out, and with self-esteem and truth, like you're really grounded in that, knowing who you are. It doesn't feel like you have anything to prove to anybody. So it's like, it's feeling almost like very, you know, rewinding to the Four of Wands, where we're not adding an extra wand onto the pile, and you're staying really rooted in your, you know, your passion, your fire. Like you're lit up, definitely, for sure. But it's like, I don't have to respond to any kind of, you know, thing that someone says that might challenge me, because I know who I am, you know, and that's more, it says more about them or what they're going through, where they are in their life right now. Like, you know, it's not about you. And I love that for you. It's like, you know, you've really done some work to really get this sense of inner peace that I really, really just feel that sense of calm for you. This is the most positive reading I've done so far, Cancer. I'm loving this. So, let's see. And how can you tackle this challenge of, like, if this Five of Wands energy comes up? I keep getting 2 cards and I keep shuffling. If this Five of Wands, you know, situation, person on your job or just in your daily life, you know, comes up, how can you tackle the challenge? Okay. And you got the Seven of Wands in reverse. Same thing. Don't take the bait. You have already won. Like, you're very victorious. The Seven of Wands says, I have to defend myself after a victory that I have, you know, won in this Five of Wands. The Six of Wands is like, I have my laurels and I'm riding this horse and I'm victorious and people are recognizing me. It's almost like you're in the in-between space of this Five of Wands and the Seven of Wands. Like, you already know your truth and your self-esteem. You're winning with the Six of Wands. So it's like, why would I even respond to any of this energy? Like, the Seven of Wands in reverse is like, just ignore it. Really, like, there is nothing to be done because there is no problem. You're already addressing the fact that, like, the problem isn't with you. If there is any kind of situation that comes up, it's like, I don't need to respond, because that is just, it would be a reaction rather than, you know, genuine, aligned action, you know, from your truth, and, you know, something that would, you know, aligns with your newfound self-esteem and empowerment. You feel empowered to not have to deal with any of that. So I'm really loving that. That's, that just, wow. I'm hoping that this energy is applying to me as well as a Cancer rising. Like, I need some of this in my life. So yes. So where may you be by the end of the month, Cancer? Let's pull a card for that. Card for Cancer. Where's Cancer at the end of March? There we go. Okay. And here we are at the moon. Very interesting. Because here we are at the Nine of Cups, where we're feeling very, you know, like we have this sense of, you know, fulfillment, you know, and in the moon, this is, you know, another 9, because if you reduce the 18 down, it aligns to Hermit energy, but it's really paying attention to your intuition is one message that I'm getting. Especially with this 12th house energy, it's the subconscious. She looks very relaxed under this water. And I know I've said this in another video because we got the moon card. You know, but it's embracing that dual nature in yourself. You know, the parts of you that are really wild, the parts of you that will speak your truth, but then also the parts of you that are soft, you know, because Cancer, we are the crab, you know, we have the hard outer shell, you know, and you're learning to really say what needs to be said when it needs to be said, but also learning how to maintain your softness, not letting people pull you out of your, you know, out of your own power. So it's almost like still doing that subconscious work and doing dream work. But I'm going to pull a clarifier for that because I just really want to see with how this is lining up with Hermit energy, you know, where if it's more of a positive, like we're taking away the wisdom of the Hermit and learning to sit with what we don't know, don't quite understand, and lean on, you know, our intuition, or if it's like feeling a little bit of impatience with what we don't know, because Saturn is also present here. So, okay, that couldn't be more clear. Four of Swords, grounded, in the mental space. Like, do you see how this lamb, third eye is lit up? Like, you're feeling very intuitive and, you know, very in touch with being able to root yourself, and, you know, root your thoughts. Don't let them carry you away. Whereas maybe this moon energy before would have been like, I am, you know, I don't understand. I can't see everything. You know, is it going to be illuminated for me? Like, what's going on? You know, I'm feeling very disempowered. It's like you feel empowered to relax into, you know, the mysteries, and just feel freer and more spacious. So all around, these are really, really positive messages. And it's almost like I'm feeling that reward is being given to you now from Saturn. Maybe that's why Saturn is showing up in these dice, is like, you know, you've been doing some work for a long time. You know, we've been getting some tough transits from Capricorn, you know, opposing our sign, that, you know, Saturn is really rewarding us by feeling very empowered by what we've had to deal with, coming through our seventh house of other people. It's really taught us a lot about ourselves, and our personal truth, and really giving us a sense of self-esteem of, you know, I know who I am, and that's something that nobody can take away from you. So really loving that. So the next thing that I'm going to do is pull some more oracle cards to give us some final messages for the month of March. Okay, so final messages for the month of March for Cancer. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, stop and let it all grow around you for a little bit. Okay, so that goes along with the Four of Swords, and, you know, not responding to any bullshit, you know, from other people or anyone trying to challenge you, because you're in a period where you've paid your dues, and now it's just time to let the growth, you know, really happen for you. You've planted your seeds. So just, you know, allow yourself in this hermit energy, you know, to have a period of rest, you know, and let what you've manifested or the seeds you've planted, let them grow. So let's see what else. Okay, what we have for Cancer. Okay, be gentle with yourself. Okay, and that's just a reminder, you know, that, hey, we're all human, right? We can slip back into, you know, feeling like, you know, we can't, you know, like, should I have said that? Should I have done that? You know, but trusting in yourself, you know, this new sense of empowerment, you know, that to just be gentle with yourself, treat yourself like you would want, you know, like you would treat your pet, or how you would, you know, treat a newborn baby. Like, you know, really allow yourself to settle into, you know, that tending, because you deserve it. You deserve it as much as the next person. And especially if you're not getting gentleness from other people, the last person who should, you know, be giving you a hard time is yourself. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull some essential oil oracles, and these have some really good statements to help you reframe certain thoughts. So I really, really love these cards for helping to reframe. Okay, so we got elevate, trigger statement, I feel so low. So we're finding our joy here. True statement, I persevere. Saturn, perseverance. Release the worry and fear and allow confidence, self-esteem, trust, and strength to take you to your goal. Okay, so right now, like, you're reaching for a goal. It seems like you really, you know, you're at that Nine of Cups. Maybe you're really trying to push through to that Ten of Cups. But if you reach a low moment, that's okay. We all do. We're all human. Don't beat yourself up. You know, but, you have the strength and to persevere through anything, Cancer. You do. You don't have to do it alone. But yeah, allowing yourself a period of relaxation, but it just feels like you're really, really grounded in your thoughts. But every now and then, you know, it's good to have a reminder. And then, you know, this too could be a reminder of times that you felt low in the past and how you've persevered and how, you know, that really, like, how empowered you feel now because of how you have, like, not let things that could have broke you down stop you. And I see that too. Okay. So here, let me make some more space. Okay. Let's see, we got 2 cards. Okay, so earthly, trigger statement, I hate my body. True statement, my body is a temple. Okay, self-esteem, keep reminding yourself, speak love over yourself and love your body. Been getting that message a lot of, you know, that bodily tending. So patchouli, that might be something that will help with that really earthy energy. So remember that you are a spiritual being having an earthly revere your loyal sacred body. Okay, take care of yourself, make sure you're nourishing yourself, drinking enough water, eating at regular intervals. That came out in the collective reading, and pretty much every reading so far has had that. And then here we go, forgiveness. Trigger statement, I did not deserve this. True statement, I forgive. That's the energy of renewing. Allow the labels of judgment to disappear. See the situations and individuals through your heart and forgive yourself. Okay, so yeah, there could have been in these 5 of Wands challenges and, you know, the 7 of Wands, you know, how to deal with these challenges. Like, you might have gone through, especially with some, you know, Saturn in 12th house of hidden enemies, like some shit that you really didn't deserve, like, you know, been really done wrong and had some hurtful things done or said to you. And this is just saying, like, forgive yourself, you know, for whatever it is that you feel like you didn't do to protect yourself, or, you know, whatever. Sometimes we can get in our heads like, you know, I should have done this. I should have been more true to myself. Like, why didn't I stand in my power and tell that person to fuck off? And now, like, I have to live forever with the fact that, like, I didn't, you know, speak my truth. But don't put those labels on yourself. You did the best that you could with what you had at that time. And an element of that is, you know, just giving it over to your guides and really grounding yourself, you know, in these moments when you might feel, you know, really activated. And with this moon card, there could be moments, you know, I really think of this as, I relate this card too to insomnia, because I pull this card a lot when I have insomnia and I wake up at night and my mind is just on the hamster wheel and I'm thinking about things and they feel way bigger, you know, than when the morning comes, you know, and the sun is out, you know, and it can just feel much more catastrophic and painful. But to allow yourself to be rooted, you know, and do some meditation, or, you know, and then remember too with this lamb, that you have a connection to source. You know how you see how she has her hands up in surrender, like surrender and ask for help, ask for peace, you know, ask to be connected to the truth of who you are, because these labels and judgments, if you're putting them on yourself, that is not the truth of you. So, excuse me. I'm just getting over being sick and my throat is really hoarse. Okay, so we're gonna move forward and then we're gonna pull another oracle card to ground this reading. One more oracle for Cancer, there we go. Okay, Epiphany, reveal your gifts. You have a lot of gifts. And especially with this empowerment card, it may be that you feel a sense of empowerment to actually birth them into the world now, or show people, speak your truth, you know, and a newfound self-esteem. Look, there's more, you know, there's gold and yellow, solar plexus energy, but that you're ready to really channel that. But also, you know, look how, you know, this card also, it relates to the Lover's card. And, you know, we're in a 6th year, a Venus year. So really revealing your gifts that, you know, it could be that you've had a moment of clarity about your relationships. And I mean, look at how it's almost like her arm is cut open, you know, and she's bleeding out gold. It's like the difficult moments that you've been through, you know, they're invaluable. Like the lessons that you've learned are gold. You know, they are so, like, people can't pay for that. You can't put a price on that. But speaking your truth, it's something that could be a gift to someone else. And it, you know, it is, you know, a gift to you, even if it felt painful in the time, these lessons that you learned. Like, you know, I don't think everything happens for a reason. I think some things are just shit, and we have to learn how to live with it and, you know, carry on with our lives. But the gift in the pain is that, you know your truth, you know what you're worth, you know that you can survive anything. And maybe that's something that you are, you know, able to impart, you know, that kind of wisdom to other people, you know, that you've had an epiphany around that, or an epiphany that leads to some sort of creative project. But also, something that I'm really getting from the imagery of this card is that you don't have to be so vulnerable, because Cancer, you know, as a water sign, you are vulnerable, and we're in a very vulnerable season of, you know, Pisces is a very feeling sign as well. You don't have to cut yourself open and splay your guts to please anybody. If that doesn't align with your truth, if it doesn't make you feel empowered, you know, to cut yourself open and just reveal more than you feel comfortable with, don't do it. You know, it's okay to put up boundaries around what it is you will and will not share. You can reveal as much of and as little of your gifts as you want to. That's, the choice is yours. And that is something that, like, I hear really loudly, that, like, my guides are screaming to me right now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull 3 self-care oracle cards that spirit, that your guides, that the collective guides want to give us, that could help us through the month when we need a little extra self-care. So this is card 23, listen. So there might be a sense of, you know, when I think of throat chakra energy, it's not always just speaking, it's also listening. So there might be some, like, clairaudience, where, like, you're receiving messages, or, you know, receiving healing through music, you know, listening for messages from your guides. You see this water crown around her head, the hermit's beacon, you know, the lamp, really speaks to illumination as well. You know, you have a lot of different things that are being illuminated for you, but listening to maybe, you know, calming sounds, or, you know, meditative things might really be helpful and healing for you. Let's see what else we have for you, Cancer. Okay, what self-care can help Cancer in the month of March? Okay, visualize. Okay, so maybe you're listening, you know, to some frequencies, and visualizing, you know, bringing into your life whatever it is that, you know, you're trying to manifest, or visualizing letting go of some of these things in the past that, you know, didn't make you feel good self-esteem, like I hate my body, I feel so low, I didn't deserve this, like almost visualizing a release of that energy. This could apply so many different ways, but really allowing yourself to use visual ways to connect with yourself as self-care. Very important for you. All right. And visualizing the life that you want when you get to this 10 of Cups that you're trying to get to, because you're already at the 9. Visualization is a very important part of manifestation. It's not all of it. Like I'm saying with Saturn, you have to do the work, but you know, by envisioning what it is that you want, you know, it's part of, you know, allowing, you know, that energy into your life. So let's see, one more card for Cancer. What kind of self-care will help? Okay. And we got journal. So yeah, maybe journaling out some of this stuff, you know, will help you get to your truth. So maybe some automatic writing. And I'm going to say this anytime I say anything about automatic writing, please make sure that you're doing it when you're grounded and protected. Call on your guides. Banish any negative entities that might want to, you know, speak through you, channel through you, through your automatic writing. So you might want to get some crystals, you know, like obsidian, hematite, excuse me, any crystals that are good for protection. And then also create a sacred circle. But just make sure if you're doing any of that kind of energetic work that you're grounding and protecting yourself, okay? Because Cancer, you're very energetically sensitive, and sometimes our, you know, aura can be pretty porous, so really need some extra protection. But overall, you know, I really see that this month is really one where you're really feeling yourself. You're feeling more like yourself than you have for a long time, and that is a wonderful thing. But just, you know, if there is any, you know, energy that tries to pull you back, lean on your self-care, and, you know, remember to be gentle with yourself. Don't say these triggering statements to yourself. And if you do, replace them with these true statements, because, you know, the triggering statements are brain chemistry. These true statements are your higher self speaking to you, your guides speaking to you. And that's really what you want to cultivate, is more of an authentic truth that builds more self-esteem and empowerment in your life. And, you know, that is your hermit wisdom, you know, is getting back to yourself. So that's what I'm seeing for you, Cancer. And I hope you have a great month. So make sure to leave a comment letting me know what resonated for you. I really love to hear from you, and I'm really hoping that we can build a community where you guys respond to each other's comments and, you know, get to know each other. And I want to make this a true community. And I want to thank you for your presence, your time, and your energy, because that's truly where the magic happens. And thank you so much to the collective guides and angels for these wonderful messages. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this channel with folks who would benefit from the messages. And while you're at it, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. Stay safe, be gentle with yourself, and I'll see you again next month. Bye, Cancer.